Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Current Racing League. This is round number 4 here in Texas. My name is ILT Indigo. You all know me as Jamie or Indigo. And unfortunately, Bunnies is not here tonight. Neither is KXI, who was supposed to be my replacement, but he's nowhere to be seen. So I have no idea what's happened to him. He's completely disappeared. But hopefully you're doing well here, around here at COTA. And I think this is one of the best circuits at all three of them. Miami, Texas, and Vegas, of course. The three USA races we have here in this modern day Formula 1 history. And first introduced back in 2012, and I think, was it Vettel or Hamilton who won the Grand Prix? I think it was Hamilton who won the 2012 Grand Prix. Then a year later it was Sebastian Vettel, I do believe it was, but after he did his burnout and gave that lovely radio message at the exit of turn 11 saying we've got to remember these days, and indeed we do, because time flies by very quickly. 10 years on since he did that radio message, 2013 to 2023. Never forgotten about those old Formula 1 memories. This track has always provided some great action in the past, and hopefully it'll provide us some great more action too, because usually down at sector 3 or the middle of sector 2 we used to see great battles unfold, especially at corner turn 16 where we see plenty of people go side by side, and it could continue all the way down towards turn 19, which we've seen plenty of overtakes happen there with Sebastian Vettel, of course, and Kevin Magnussen recently back in 2023. No, 2022. Yeah, all my memory's fading. The 2023 was last year. No, 2022 was last year. There we go. But Bosch Evans out the final corner already sliding as he starts his first flying lap. He said to me in the party that he hasn't done any practice, so I don't expect him to do well here unless he can get some magic under his seat. Coming out of turn 1 then, heavy braking zone of course, come off all the speed, heavy traction zone 2 as we head through turn 3, the Magnussen Beckett like, if you would like, going into these fast corners here. Let's see how it takes with them, flicking left, flicking right, carrying the speed without losing the back end of the core or invalidating. Very important to get the rhythm through there, and through the first sector he goes through turn 9, and now we're coming into the heavy braking zone of turn 10. It's important to get this right as Tony has retired from the session. This is the exit of turn 11. Very important to get it right indeed, because it leads onto the back straight with the dose of DRS, and this is where you'll see the overtaking action happen here. We saw Alonso and Stroll, I think, crash here back in 2022, which was last year. And I remember Esteban Gutierrez and Pastor Maldonado making contact, or was it Adrian Sutil back then, in 2013 too, when a similar thing happened between those guys. I believe Adrian Sutil was fighting for his seat back then, and I think he got it in 2014, and that was his last year of racing in Formula 1. I don't know what's happened to him ever since then, but in modern day we're coming towards the Chippewa hand, the flat out corner as it should be. I think it is flat out during the race. We'll see, coming towards turn 19, flicking in the left-hander, using all the curb there. Nicely demonstrated by Josh, using all the track he can possibly get away with without invalidation. At 32.9 is already quicker, I think, than Tier 3 pole, or very close to it. So Josh there already beating the benchmark, as we've got Mercedes next across the line with a 38.3, and that's Reservoir on the intermediate tyres, so obviously not a representative lap time, I don't think. So we've got some new or similar faces which have joined us here in the session. We've got Rotation here coming out of turn 11. Nice to have you back, Rotation. I don't believe he's got any wins in CRL. I think he might have picked up 1 or 2 podiums, or maybe none in fact, if I'm being honest. So yeah, Rotation still hunting down his first victory. Smalley Balls, last week's race winner, goes to the top of the timing sheets, and now instantly replaced by Jewelry by a huge 7/10 deficit, and hopefully that's just a banker lap for those guys there, as Jewelry sets the initial pace closer to the 31s. Rotation heading towards the triple right-hander. Great sequence of the track indeed, and now we're heading towards turn 19. This is where Grosjean spun as well all those years ago. Very easy to drop it at the exit of turn 19. You pick up the throttle too early there, you might find yourself hitting the wall like Tobes did back in Tier 3 on Monday, and also Danny Kvyat did the same thing when he dropped his Red Bull at the podium, unfortunately, after Red Bull were leading the race against Mercedes, Rosberg and Hamilton as it was, as Rotation pops his car into second place. We've got 2 Swedish drivers here tonight, which is Rotation and CPI Choye. Which of the Swedish drivers will come out on top, as we got one of them on their outlap, which is Choye. Troye, a very handy driver indeed. He's been very quick throughout his league racing history ever since 2020. Maybe still using those assists, but hopefully he'll turn it off very shortly. I think he's using ABS still, I'm not quite sure, but whenever he's ready to turn it off, he's ready, as we got to see him coming towards the final corner. 2 weeks ago he's on pole, and Nathan's on pole at the moment, but what can Steve do in the Ferrari? He goes into P3 with a 32.4, so there's still some big gaps out there, but hopefully the margin will get closer as Nathan just takes pole away, only by a few hundredths ahead of Jewel Beam. There's an Alfa Romeo who's gone for a spin in the background. That's Smalley Balls. He's just done a lap time and he's now gone for a spin, cutting the grass, and looks like he was beached on the grass too. Look at that massive wheel spin, so he can barely get going off the grass, but oh, he's run out of fuel. Has he? But he's not braking, accelerating. I think he's just plainly run out of fuel, so how he managed to spin, I'm not quite sure, without any power, but yeah, thankfully he hasn't retired from this session. Leo Aries, I think there was 2 Leos last week, weren't they? One of them had a bad qualifying, and the other one had a great race. I don't want to get them mixed around. Obviously we've got our Leo Aries, who's in IRT, and the other Leo who was in IRT and now has gone to V10 as it's called, or V10, whatever the team's called. But here it is, Leo Aries doing a great job so far for Red Bull. I think it's his second appearance here in CRL. And what can the Red Bull driver do? I think he was the one who had a bad qualifying, then rectified his mistakes in qualifying and made amends and finished inside the top 10. In fact, why am I even asking when I could just look at the race results from last week? So yeah, it was him. No, it wasn't him. I think Leo was inside the top 10. I think he had to make another pit stop for an unknown reason, or he had damage, I'm not quite sure. But it was V10 Leo who started at the back and finished in P5, whereas this Leo was inside the top 5, but along the way I think some contact happened and unfortunately dropped outside the top 10, but he did finish inside the top 10 at the end of the race. So 8 minutes has gone by already. That's gone quick, hasn't it? As we still got a lot of drivers yet to set qualifying laps, you know. That's very interesting at this stage of qualifying. 9 minutes has gone and we've only got 8 drivers who have set a lap time. I'm not quite sure. People are just waiting for the right opportunities, ready for the track to rubber in, maybe just sacrifice a set of softs to reuse later on in the race, like SeaWorld Gamer did back at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Actually almost paid dividends for his strategy. CPI Troye goes quickest with a 32.1, and that's in the same time distance as Jewel Bream and Nathan, so the top 3 with a 32.1. This track is 5.5 kilometers, and those drivers within a few hundreds of each other is just incredible margins we're seeing here in tier 1. What can Leo Aries do coming out of turn 11 then? Open the DRS, and this is the main place for overtaking at turn 12 or turn 1. I think turn 1's a good place to overtake as well. We see plenty of people, including George Russell, who took out Carlos Sainz back in 2022 when Sainz started on pole and unfortunately had to retire from that race. A 2.3 in this middle sector. Do you know what, as commentators and spectators and viewers, you know what we would like? More graphics on the broadcasting sides. Screw all the sports cars and the other updates you put into this game that we don't really use or like. Why do you just focus on the things we do like? And spectators' point of view, why can't we have like 3 different time sheets up like in the actual real life F1 and have like 3 different driver names on the screen? And Leo's in the pit lane, so he believes that lap time wasn't good enough, and in the pit lane he goes then. Unfortunately won't have a lap time to his name. CPI Chazza, there's 3 drivers I raced with a few days ago, and CPI Chazza is one of them as he comes through turn 11 now in the McLaren. He first joined last season, and his teammate was Sahilo as well, Chihuahua, who unfortunately is not here, but he's still taking part in racing. And he was in Aston Martin last season, or just a reserve driver in general was Chazza. Now he's a full-time driver in McLaren, in the Cone family, and a very nice addition to have as well. Chazza is a very nice guy, very funny too. It's a 2.1, and in comparison to Leo's time, it was a 2.3 in the middle sector, so he's 2 tenths up on the Red Bull, if I could put that to reference. Resify is out there on a brand new set of softs. Demorts is out there. Welcome Demorts, hopefully you're doing alright. You're making his Haas debut in tier 1. He got taken out in a realistically, didn't he, in Imola, if you guys watched it. Chazza coming towards the penultimate corner. Let's see what the McLaren driver can do. And now approaches the final corner. Very important to get a decent exit. He crossed the line. It's a 32.2. and that's very close to pole indeed. Puts his car into P4, so great quality from Chazza. He has been struggling in the last few races, but he never gives up, does he? He messaged me saying that he doesn't care about winning or losing, it's just about taking part and see where he ends up, really. Not taking it too seriously, as some people might need to be remembered, including me. Pease has joined the session. There is Taupe in the AlphaTauri, who has invalidated, unfortunately. And where's Demort? He's currently coming towards the final corner to set a 32.9, which is margins away, but out-qualifies his Haas teammate of Bosch Evans, who puts his car into P8. Sweet Crown is out there. Somebody's just moved up the order. Was that a Haas again? Yeah, it was Bosch Evans who put himself into P7. And what about Sweet Crown down there in P13, as my timing thing has been glitched out thanks to P's joining the session? There he is, Sweet Crown, headed towards the first sector with the number 5 on his car, called Sebastian Vettel number. That's the go-to number I've always liked, and the helmet too. And coming towards turn 9 now as we head down into the heavy braking zone at turn 10. Can be quite tricky with traction. Kisses the apex and just feathers the throttle very nicely to break traction. DRS enabled for the Red Bull driver, as there's 5 minutes and 55 seconds left to go in this qualified session. So German and Pyro have retired. Kenny, he finished P4 at the Mexican Grand Prix. I think he's had 1 or 2 podiums to his name. I remember one at the Hungarian Grand Prix, and I think he narrowly missed out at the Dutch GP when he was fighting with Bompier for the final paying podium positions. Has put himself into P2. I think he was Walter's teammate last season too, if I'm not mistaken. Walter is now in the Red Bull, as he was in the Ferrari last season alongside Bompier. It was Bompier who was his teammate last season, and here he is flicking through the final 2 corners. Nathan's gone quicker with a 31.9, so the first man in the 31s. What could Sweet Crown do? It's a 131.9, and he's 100 quicker or slower than Nathan JB in the Williams. Then Nathan JB still looking for his first win of the season. He's had multiple wins here in Cone, but in terms of the season, unfortunately has just missed out due to incidents like in Mexico. I believe one of them was under the VSC, when I think he got a drive-through penalty, or when he lost his wing. It was one of the two for sure, I remember that. And where else did he lose? The Hungarian Grand Prix, the soft compound tyres just faded away from him, and Walter was able to defend from him. There's Leo again, so a 2.5 was his middle sector, now it's a 2.1, so it improves by 4/10, and hopefully he can finish the lap time this time, because he hasn't got a lot of time left in the session and needs to have a banker as well. He's only fueled the car for 1 lap, so it's pivotal for him not to make any mistakes. CRL Bompier, who can have decent results from time to time. Not quite sure through turn 16 if Leo made a mistake there. I was off camera with him, but hopefully he hasn't, because he hasn't got a lap time on the board, and a few drivers down haven't got a lap time either. Leo puts his car into P7 with a 32.4. Just awaiting about 5 drivers to set a lap time. German and Pyro can't, as they've retired from the session. Not been a great season for Pyro so far. Hopefully he could cover for that. By the way, if you guys keep hearing me mute my mic, that's because I am coughing in the background. Obviously I don't want to hear you I don't want to hear you cough. Let me rephrase that, shall we? I'll eventually get it right if I stop stuttering. I don't want you to hear me cough. There we go. It wasn't that hard to say, was it? Here we go. Bompier's off the track, and that's the validation for him, so he will not be completed that lap time. That's a 2.4, so I don't think that's a decent middle sector. As Resify enters the final corner, he needs a lap time on the board, and he puts himself into P9 with a 32.5. So we've got 3 minutes left of qualifying. We'll see who can take pole position away. It's going to be very interesting towards the end. Stay tuned as I mute my mic to take a little break, as I haven't got a co-commentator with me. So 1 minute and 50 seconds left of this qualifying, and as you can see, we've got a flurry of cars heading out the pit lane for the 1 lap dash to pole position. Who could try and take pole away from Nathan JB? Sweet Crown, Troy, Kenny maybe? Dual Beam, Chaz is quite close, you know, in P6. Both McLarens having a decent qualifying. Resify is in the pit lane because he hasn't got enough time to go out there for another lap time. Bompia has only got a 1 lap qualifying session to try and take pole or put himself inside the top 10 if he can. But Troy, what can he do? We know he's a handy driver from time to time. Here he is out of the final corner. He's raced around here in USA because he witnessed me getting a win after being on the wrong strategy. As we head down into turn number 1 then, heavy braking zone, uphill off camber curve. Used to make a curb on the entry too for rotation. Hits the apex nicely out of turn 1. Double shifts to 4th gear as he wants to try and reduce the wheel spin as we head through turn 3, turn 4, flat out through these corners, a slight lift off in the entry, and this one he takes a flat out. I think some people have a slight lift off. He stays in 7th, and that's a few hundreds up in the first sector. Oh yeah, I know what it is. He's using automatic gears, isn't he? And here we are coming out of turn 8 and turn 9. I didn't quite see his first sector split as we head down through turn 11 then. And let's see how he takes this one then, hitting the inside curve, the front end of the car working really well as we head now onto the long back straight. With DRS enabled then on this long back straight as we head down into turn number 12. Hitting the 100 meter board. I think somebody took out the 150, but that don't really matter anyways because that doesn't really count. Well, that doesn't really, that's not the brake mark. And you can see Troy, I think he was the 10th up in the middle sector as we flick our way into turn 16, taking a wider angle to try and get a good exit out of here into turn 16, 17, 18. The triple right-hander, I think there's only 20 corners on the track, not 21 if I'm not mistaken. Into turn 19 we go. Decent exit out there. Every single driver's out there on their lap who hasn't retired in the pit lane. Here's CPI Troy. Can he take pole? Oh, he was so close, but yet so far. There's McLaren behind us. What can he do? I think he's staying where he is. Chazza, we've got Alfa Romeo making their way towards the line. What can he do? He goes up into P8. Last week's race winner is Smalling Balls. And what about the rest of them? And rotation in P7 in the Mercedes. We've got Alpha Tauri next to cross the line. And let's see who that is. Is that Tope who hasn't got a lot of time? No, it's the other driver. And he goes to pole. It's a 31.8. His dual beam has set. And let's see if anybody can snatch that. What's Sweet Crown doing? He's in a lap 2. As both AlphaTauri and Red Bull started the lap together. That's very interesting. Not the first time Sweet Crown's done that. Talk about Saudi Arabia with P's there. He's got a habit, but I think he's turned off his ERS, so he won't be taking pole away from anybody so far, unfortunately for him. So I think qualifying is done, but Pease is coming around the final corner now to take P7 at 32.3. We've got a flurry of cars. They're quite close together, you know, all these cars. George Hargreaves in P7, Kenny in P5, Sweet Crown in the pit lane, Tope in P16. So I think it was a messy end to this qualifying session. What's Nathan doing out there? Currently doing nothing, as unfortunately he's ruined his lap time out there on the circuit. As Steve Raw Gamer is out there too, but he's also backed off. So only one driver approved, or two, in that last qualifying session. And there he is, your pole man, Dual Beam. So I wasn't exciting as I thought it would be. But there it is then. Dual Beam's on pole position ahead of Nathan by under a few hundreds, or over a few hundreds. Sweet Cloud in P3, Troy in P4. George Hargreaves has just picked up a BS 5 place grid penalty. That's just utter rubbish, man. An AI car just picked up a 5 place grid penalty after qualifying. That just tells you how much the game is good. That didn't even make sense, but you know what I mean. So I think there could be a lobby restart because that's an undeserved 5 place grid penalty. Qualifying is over. Dual Beams on pole position ahead of Nathan. Sweet Clown in P3 with Troy in P4. Kenny 5th place ahead of Chazza. Great qualifying there from Chazza. George Hargreaves in 7th ahead of Pease. Rotation 9th ahead of Aries. Smalley Balls in 11th place. Last week's race winner unfortunately down into P11. Seep in 12th ahead of Resify. Bosch Evans 14th. D-Mort's 15th. And 5 drivers, or 4 because there's only 19, haven't set a lap time, which is Tope, German, Pyro and Bompia. I think ILT Leroy is supposed to be here, but as you can see for yourselves, he's not made an appearance. The lazy Irishman indeed. So that's qualifying over. I'll take a short break. Let's see what happens in the Discord server. Will it be a lobby restart? That's what happens, you know. We don't want lobby restarts because it's code starts about 8:15, and some of us want to get going after the race, including me. So we'll see if it's a lobby restart. It should be. I don't know what the rules are in code because I don't read them, as you could probably tell. Will it be an interesting start off the line then, with the inside line belonging to Nathan? And it is a restart. Yeah, it's no. I don't think it's no. It's a no-brainer for a restart. An unfair 5 place grid penalty with an AI. I think some people will be mad at this, but it is fair enough, to be honest with you. ILT Cross Liam wants to join, as he says. Is there any spare spots? So Bompier will be in last place at all. We'll just watch this chaotic opening first lap. Oh, it is a formation lap indeed, so it won't matter. So I think every single driver needs to hit each other so we can get going with the race and get out of here. I think German's used to getting hit by now. Abu Dhabi, last corner, a few days ago. I'm only kidding, German, that's my fault. I admit that. You should have been there in the first place, German. But every single driver then has retired and left from the session. Cross lane, imagine getting drunk on Thursday. Wow. Well, Scott's drunk every day, so I don't think it really matters, to be honest. So while this lobby restart sorts itself out, I will take a very short break, and I'll be back with you momentarily. I don't know if I should leave the session. Everyone else is leaving, so I think I might as well leave before I get stuck in here. apologies for the delay. We had a fireplace grip penalty that was handed out in qualifying very unfairly, so it's only wise to... Well, it's not wise for me to turn up my volume on my phone because I can hear myself, so apologies about that again. But a fireplace grip penalty was handed out to George Hargreaves due to illegal blocking by the AI, and we had to restart the lobby because it's only fair, of course. So we're back up into P7. Great qualifier, by the way, for George Hargreaves. Obviously, he arrived here. Well, he had his first appearance in Tier 1 at Saudi Arabia. Finished in P10, so he scored decent points. Then he DNF'd at the Hungarian Grand Prix, and after that, hasn't shown. But he's back here for round 5 at the USA Grand Prix. What can he do in the Aston Martin? He's got some potential pace. He showed it back in Tier 3 last season, or Tier 4. Working his way up the ranks. But I'll see you all in a few moments' time, when it's time for racing. jiggly jiggly bits. I think that's the best way to put it, Nathan, Daniel, in the comment section. Jiggly bits. How you doing, DC? You know what it's like to get a podium here, don't you, in Tier 3? What can your team do here tonight in the Mercedes? Because obviously it's a constructors across all tiers, so every single point counts for the constructors. And hopefully Bob Pierre's got his settings right. We do have a formation lap underway. Is that the set of softs I see? Yeah, it is. Wow. Dual Beam has gone for the soft compound tyres. Do you know what? If I remember last season in Cone, did somebody pull away? Or was that a different league? No, it was in a different league, so excuse me for that. Yeah, it was in the ILT Esports event when somebody just pulled away from everybody, breaking the DRS train, leaving second place downwards to fight it out throughout the whole race. I think it was Erpek who did that, but nevertheless we're here in Cone. I think USA Kota was the pre-season race, wasn't it? China was one of them, I remember that. But Kota was used as the pre-season race, which was a shame, because it's not usually a test track, it's a race track. Well, every single track is a race track, obviously, but this one should be on the calendar at all times. It's a really good race track. We've raced at this circuit plenty of times here at Cone, so it's no stranger to this event. There it is, I finally found it. That is the wrong stream. George Hargreaves, I think, won here. No, he had a 5-second time penalty, didn't he, for speed of the safety car. So he almost won here in USA a few seasons ago, back in Season 8. It was a wet race as well last season, or the season before. So Season 8, it was a lap race. Wow, I can't even speak. A wet race, there we go. It was a wet race, and Wilder won the race, unsurprisingly. And there was a lot of 3-second time penalties too. I can't believe that was 2 seasons ago. That was a long time ago too, 8 months ago. Wilder won, and it was a battle for second place with people that didn't have penalties versus people that did. Tony finished in P2. Rotation actually finished in P3, so he has scored a podium as rotation. That was 2 seasons ago. Can he score one here today, starting in P9? As all the drivers line up on the grid, you can see the tyres the drivers have allocated for. P2 is a good place to start. Back in 2016, Rosberg versus Hamilton, as Hamilton pushed Nico off the track. 2017 as well, Sebastian Vettel went up the inside of Lewis Hamilton. 2018, Raikkonen did the same thing on Hamilton when he started on the ultra soft tyres. We had like 5 different tyre compounds. And also 2021, when Hamilton versus Verstappen, Hamilton went up the inside and took the lead of the race, and also Carlos Sainz, I think, and George Russell. And Charles Leclerc tried to do it down the inside of Verstappen in 2023 this year, but unfortunately he couldn't do it. But what about Nathan? I don't think he'll get a good start, you know, because Dual Beam is on the soft compound tyres, so expect the AlphaTauri to have a lightning start. Hopefully it does, because he can't afford to find himself falling down the order, so it's very crucial for Dual Beam to get a decent launch off the line to maintain P1 and hopefully for him pull away. But we are waiting for some reason. All 18 drivers are lined up on the circuit ready for this 28 lap race, and let's see what this race has to bring and has in store for us as we await the lights for the US Grand Prix in Tier 2. No surprise, ILT Ennis is leading the Grand Prix with Jet in P2 and Duel in P3, so Tier 2 is a good race, having a good race so far. But Tier 1, it could be a different story, as hopefully there's no glitches this time. There's all the drivers lined up on the grid, with one of them out of position by a milestone as well. Who's that in the AlphaTauri? That's P's. Alpine, sorry. Oh, Nathan's left the session. Don't tell me we've got another lobby restart. Oh, for sake. Maybe Jewelry might consider with another lobby restart to put on a different set of tyres, and off he goes then to lead this race. If only I had OBS to make things interesting. Unfortunately I don't have that type of equipment. with me, or on me I must say. I know people have got work in the morning, even Troy on night shifts, might want to get going soon. We'll see you all in the next lobby, and hopefully it's the third time lucky. Yeah, I wish we started at 8 o'clock because 8:15 is such a weird time to start. I don't know why. I thought 8:30 was late, but I'd rather start at 8 o'clock. I think we all can agree on that. Maybe because of tier 2, that's what clashes with it, but I'll just say I don't care. Anyways, I'll take another short break, and for real next time we can get racing. Should have been about lap 7 or 8 by now. Maybe more than that. So, Posh Evans just said, whilst we are getting ready, can you list off your top 3 choice of biscuits, top 3 crisps, and flavoured drinks, please? Well, I can tell you about drinks, because I only drink water, so there you go. Unless you're talking alcohol, of course. A top 3 crisps. I don't really eat crisps, to be honest with you. I don't even know why I made that noise. I couldn't even stop saying the word. Crisps. Oh, I'm not going to say it no more, but... top 3 crisp. I'm not quite sure to put this with you. I like cheese and onion, smoky bacon. What else do I like? I do like some Pringles as well. Can you lift off your top 3 choice of biscuits? Oof. I don't like ginger, whatever they're called. Did you see my song, Jamie? No, Daniel, mate. Where'd you put it? Good Polish. Yeah, Mighty Atom says, "Good luck, evening comms. Long tonight. It is, mate. A long night indeed. There's only me on the comms too." Oh, Antonio heard me say the word crisps. I ain't gonna say that ever again. Can I have a packet of crisps, please? Would you say top 3 biscuits? Well, I barely eat biscuits as well, to be honest. Trying to stay healthy, if you know what I'm saying. What would my top 5 biscuits, top 3 biscuits be? Antonio says you called it a cat. Top 3 biscuits. I don't know actually, mate, to be honest with you. Don't really eat biscuits either. Favourite episode of the RuPaul drag race? I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you, Josh. Any more dying questions you want to ask, Josh? I'll be here all night asking questions. I think I'd rather you ask me questions than me sitting here thinking about things. Sweetcard says, cancel the race and do it at the end of the season. Ah, oh, I'm not going to say that in rotation. I almost said it as well. Because usually I just read things and without thinking. You almost made me say it in rotation. It's a good job I didn't say it. Otherwise I'd be in big trouble. Well, who's your favourite star rotation? I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours. Have you heard of the new esports driver called I Swallow Cum? Oh, shh! Oh no, you got me there, Bosch. You got me there. No! Oh, you got me there, Josh. I'm not even thinking either. Apparently, not a lot of things exist either, according to other people. I swallow your mum, Tony. That's what I swallow. There's a 5-point interesting point. Do a 35% race. That would not be a bad call, you know. But yeah, I think we rather have a 50% now. So I'm gonna check the comment section and Discord too. Flying solo, what a guy. Favorite meal deal? Pasta, a chocolate biscuit, and a drink. Yeah, Tony, you think I can't say that? It took me ages to say that word. Have you heard of supercal? No, I coughed. I didn't start. I coughed. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. There it is. I said it. When I was younger, I couldn't say it. Oh, Josh is definitely going to clip that, what I said earlier on, and put it in clip that too. Caught me off guard, you know. I might get Ginger H to say it, one of my commentators in a different league. German, Chazza, and Troy know what I'm talking about with Ginger H. Some of you might not know him. You got any more questions you want to ask, Tony? Anybody else? I gotta go to the comment section now. So, Mary Poppins. Yes, Mighty Atom, you got that right, mate. What's the film called as well? Or is it called Mary Poppins? I'm not quite sure I'm not quite sure if the film is called Mary Poppins or something else. ILT Cross Liam says, who is winning? Well, we haven't even started yet. Oh, it is called Mary Poppins. I don't know. I always thought it was called something else. I haven't really watched it, to be honest, ever since I was younger. Quite weird, you know. I take it she's got an umbrella or something, has she? You know what, man? This is taking way too long. Hopefully we get started. Might as well go to midnight with this. In an old guy. I literally watched it this morning with the grandkids, lol. One more minute, Nathan says. So if you got any more dying questions before I start commentating this race, ask them now. Peach just said I've got children to feed. That should have said I'm an old guy. Yeah, I know what you mean, Mighty Atom. Don't you worry, sir. Are you serious? Are we having another lobby? Are you mad? What the hell's going on out here? At this rate, we're never going to have a race. You might as well put it to 35% now. I know you want a 50% race, but I don't have the time. That Coco and Encanto on my TV, or my TV and non-stop. Well, I would restart the game, but I've got the stream running up. Thank you everybody for sticking in this stream. Appreciate it. Yeah, please Scott join comms. You make it very interesting indeed. Let me rip the shit out of some drivers in here. I don't think my game's working now, so I might have to actually restart the game, you know. Nah, of course it doesn't work anymore. Great. Well, folks, Scott is joining me on the commentary box, so I can't wait. For those who are still in the stream, thank you all for bearing your time with me. Mighty Atom, thank you for joining me as well. How are you doing in the comment section? Leroy needs to get his eyesight back. I was about to say Leroy needs to get his eyesight back first, but obviously I messed the joke up now. Never mind his power back. I can't use that joke anymore because I just stuttered on it. I'm sure we're all annoyed with these lobby restarts. Thanks to George Hargreaves. No, I'm only kidding, George, it wasn't your fault, but hopefully none of this happens again. We had that safety car glitch or yellow flag glitch back at tier 3. I'm good, mate. We'll wait all night if I have to. Love watching the big boys. Oh, sorry about that, but I just had to laugh at that comment. I don't know why. Come on, Sam, join the session, mate. Hello, Stevan. Hoe gaat het? There he is, Mr. CRL Freefall.
Oh, hi Jamie. Fucking raging, mate.
Gaat prima. Het goed met mij, dankjewel.
I started 10th, and then lap 1, just people going for stupid aggressive dives, put me right down the pack, and I'm trying to get up through the pack, and like just had a spin, so I was like, fuck it, I'll commit to the 2-stop, and then had
Did you
a
just
spin
swear?
into the wall.
You realise the stream is up still.
Oh right, is it? Oh,
yeah,
the
stream's
just overviewing my race. Oh well, hi everybody. You can see all that in the tier 2 reports. I didn't realise you're live, mate. I'm just gonna nip off to the toilet if that's all right, because I've just came out of my race as well. So I'll let you handle things until we get live again.
Take your controller to the toilet. We want to hear it.
Oh, steady on.
So, this tier 1 lobby started an hour ago. Here we are in the lobby still. Third time lucky. Hope we can get racing. You're lucky I'm a loyal commentator to this league. Otherwise I would have gone by now. Would have been a long gone time ago. I would have gone a long time ago. That's what I meant to say. My voice is going, so you best hurry up. Otherwise you won't hear my beautiful voice while it still lasts. I want to run out of chat 45 minutes ago. Luckily I got my glass of water with me, so I've only got a bit of glass as well, only half full, so I might have to refill it. Thank you, Atom, I appreciate that, mate. You're doing a great job too.
Jamie Morris, the man, the myth, the legend. No matter what he does, always doing a stand-up job, mate. And you've got a little backup now. My introduction wasn't the best, just me having a rant and a rave, but I'm here, folks. CRL Freefall in the house.
CRL Freefall and ILT Indigo back together again.
The dream team. The absolute dream team.
Here we are in the session then. We did see Dual Beam start on the soft compound tyres, so I wonder if he's opted to go for that same strategy. Very interesting strategy, but we'll see if he's decided to stay on the same tyres. I think I went from the hards to mediums in my other race. In fact, it was hard, medium, soft and inters, as it was a 3-stop strategy. But we'll see if rain does play a factor here, and hopefully be a great race. How was your race, Scott? Was it dry or was it wet?
It was full dry. Majority of the grid doing the sort of the standard medium hard split. A couple of drivers opting for the softs. One of them not through choice, just through to a disconnection issue. But the softs, they really started to go off a cliff after about lap 6 or 7 even. Just not purely with tyre wear, sorry. A kind of mix of tyre wear and of course tyre temps around here. The mediums, they were a very good tyre for about 10 to 15 laps, and then again it was like dropping straight off a cliff, and then after that we didn't really get to see the full mix of how long the hards last, just with a safety car caused by yourselves truly. But overall there looked to be some good battles going on around this circuit, and that sets us up good from not what we've just seen in tier 2 of course, from what we've seen in tier 3 and tier 4 this week, Jamie.
Yeah, we've seen a great race in Tier 3, especially in the last few laps of the race when we saw that Nat Jack holding up the rest of the field, and also 5 penalties could play a massive factor into this race as well. We've seen a lot of people pick them up over the recent times here in Kota. Not an easy place to avoid a penalty, of course. Very brutal for track limits. I think turn 19 is one of them too. And Tope says restart on a 100% race. But hopefully there's no problems this time, because this is the 3rd time we're trying to do this. And Josh has left the session apparently, according to other people. So hopefully it's not going to be a waste of time. Might as well cancel if we have to do it all again. It's just the reason the first time caused was because of George Hargreaves getting a 5 plays grid penalty due to illegal blocking, but that wasn't his fault, and there is no formation lap. Dual Beam's on the medium, so he's opted to go for a different strategy than the second time we've tried to do it. Here we are, the lights are away for the 5th race here around Kota. Let's see who gets a better start off the line. It will be Jewel Bream. He leads them uphill into turn 1 as Nathan's surrounded by cars. Around the outside goes Sweet Khan. You can see McLaren and Kenny up into P4, then Sweet Khan is in P2. I didn't even see him go around the outside there as Nathan's down into P3 there with Kenny in P4, Troy in P5, both Alpines P5 and in P6 as well. I think one of McLaren's has dropped down, which is Chaza, who's down into P9. He started, I think, in 6th place as Josh Evans has rejoined back the session. He's all the way down in 18th place as Taupe has overtaken. He couldn't get in the second session, but the third session we have now, he is in. We're missing 2 drivers, ILT Leroy and ILT Germans, but so far Jewel Bream leads them away. I thought Nathan would have a chance down the inside because the inside line is a good way to overtake, or is the preferred way, and we've got a multi-car battle here with Smalley Balls versus Chaza as they go wheel to wheel. Smalley Balls using that bit of extra ERS he has against Chaza. Look at the straight line speed, he just breezes past him even without the helping hand of DRS. Oh, he moved very late there. I think that was Resify in the Mercedes who moved very late on the braking there, almost could have ended badly there. That's Rotation actually who moved very late, but could have ended very badly if it wasn't for Smalley Balls' reaction time there.
Yeah, nice little battle already kicking off in the midfield. There's Jazza for a second, just Smalley Balls going that little bit wide through the turn there, the left-hander in the sector 3, but opening up a bit of space, and Resify having a little look in with the nose, but not quite able to make the move materialise. But nice battles kicking in already, Jamie, of course. We spoke about it on Monday, we're going to speak about it again as Sabe goes down the inside of Leo Aries. I'm not familiar with that name and I do apologise if I've said that wrong, into the final corner, but it'll be nice, especially at this top tier, Jamie, to see a nice mix of strategies in the set up front. And speaking of mixing strategies, it looks as if it's Pyro, big man Tony, has got a little bit more straight line speed. Most of the cars here, I imagine, are running a mix of the 45 to 39 wing ratio. Some of them might run a little bit higher, some might be running a little bit lower, so we'll see that differential in the straight line and cornering speed, of course. A very, very clean start to the race, all down through the grid from my point of view, though, Jamie, and definitely a good mix on the strategy front. We've got, 6 cars on the hards out of the 18, the rest on the mediums. So the mediums looking to go roughly into the early teens, the hards towards the late teens, and then we'll see the switch from there as D-Morts switches positions with Sierra Bumpy down for P15. But overall, Jamie, a good start to the race, and I'm looking forward to what it unfolds.
Oh no! Pease is just taking out Kenny. He's just outbroke himself trying to overtake Troy. Kenny was in a great position to overtake Nathan, and now he's just been wiped out by Pease, who was late to the break trying to overtake his teammate. I feel so bad for Kenny there, just an innocent victim in that one, unfortunately. But Pease, he gained one and lost one at the same time, stays in P5, but unfortunately too late at the brakes there. I don't know if he's got any end plate damage himself, but it's definitely cost him, and Kenny's fallen down into P17. Had a great qualifying session, did the finishman, but he started down in P5, made a 1 place, looking to try and overtake Nathan. He finished P4 the Mexican Grand Prix, looking to go one better, but it's ended in a spin. He's down in 17th, and what can he do from there? Here goes the Aston Martin, that's George Hargreaves up into P5, but P's trying to do the switchback. Could he get the throttle as early as he wanted to, as he had a lot of wheel spot on the exit therefore couldn't get past him, and into P60 he goes. So I'm not quite sure. It does look like P's might sustain a bit of damage. You can see the way he's turning in, a lot of steering input, looks like he's understeering too, so I think he's got some wind damage as rotation is all over the back of him. I'm going to be very careful not to overtake him in these corners, otherwise the door will be shut firmly in your face and therefore send you in your spin yourself. But yeah, P's has got some wind damage unfortunately, and that'll be detrimental towards his race and Kenny's race.
Yeah, going to be a huge blow, particularly through that, not just that first sector, of course, through the S section, but through that twisty and technical third sector, really going to hamper P's. The bright side here is going to be an absolute rocket down at the straight, and it's doing enough to hold off rotation as things down into the left-hander of turn 12, I believe it is, Jamie. Now the right-hander, double right-hander of 13, 14. Rotation moving to the right-hand side there, having a little look, but ultimately Christian is I was about to say a very sensible driver, and that was a little bit of contact, a little bit of inter-wheel lock in there. But aside from that, a very sensible move. Elbows out from both drivers here. We see Smalley Balls in the background having to go wide through the triple red right-hander to try and avoid. And it looks as if Is that rotation or P's into the pits? It is P's into the pits at the end of lap 4. Rotation losing a bucket load of time, however. He has got DRS from P's prior to the pit. 1.8 seconds now. The gap opened up to George Hargreaves in front, and P's now retiring in the pits. Shame to see after all the delays we've had tonight, Jamie. But, however, a little bit of damage, ultimately too much for him to continue on.
Yeah, Chaz has picked up a 360 tap on as he rode the curb. And for information about Smalley Balls, he tried to make it 3 abreast down the triple right-hander, but he's getting pushed wide anyway, as rotations in the middle has nowhere to go. And Smalley Balls lost a place towards Chazza, so Chazza regained his spot in 7th place ahead of Smalley Balls, and Pease, like I said, has retired after all those lengthy delays, has called it a day now. So that's just a complete waste of time there for Pease, waiting an hour for this race to start, and unfortunately has ended in retirement. Here comes Chazza though, on rotation as he puts himself into P6. It looks like George Hargreaves has got some decent pace now, putting pressure on Troy ahead of him as well. So George Hargreaves moved from tier 3 to tier 1, is doing a sensational job so far in this race. Don't want to put too much of a curse on him, as you all know the commentators cursed on that plenty of times before, so just for his sake I hope he does well. And he finished in P10. That's his best result in tier 1 so far. That was back at the Jeddah Grand Prix in Saudi Arabia. Then he DNF'd in the next race and didn't show up for the next 2, but here he is currently in P5, putting pressure on Troy. We all know Troy is a very quick driver, but look at that, he's burned off a lot of his battery so far. So will that influence George Hargreaves to go up the inside into turn 1, and he puts his Aston Martin into P4. So the top 3 in the DRS train by themselves, but I wonder, does George Hargreaves has the pace to catch up? We'll see, and let's see if Troy will follow along too in the other Alpine. He didn't get caught up in the incident, I don't think, Troy, so he shouldn't have any sort of damage. He just saw the chaos unfold in front of him. So we'll see if George Hargreaves will be able to pull away and try and catch the top 3. It'll be quite difficult because the top 3 will have DRS zones twice along this lap. You get one on the main straight and one at the exit of turn 12. We've got some more people swapping positions, so it doesn't help when people leave the session or join the session, because my timing thing gets absolutely glitched, because I don't like to scroll up and down. I like to use the spectators menu to find drivers, as Jewel Bean has been overtaken by Sweet Crown, and we'll see this all day long, all night long I must say, because they'll constantly trade DRS as well, the top 3, swapping back and forth until we see the latter stages of this Grand Prix. They're on the medium compound tyres, as King Thai Panda has put a broken love heart symbol on Alpine, and Panda's in Alpine. He finished in P2 as well. A great result, a much needed result too for Panda, as he had COVID at the French GP, I think Mexican GP, and came back strong here in USA to finish in P2. A great result indeed, and might have taken the race win with that post-race penalty for ILT Crc. But as we round off lap 5 and into lap 6, it's Sweet Crown in the lead ahead of Joe Beam. And actually Panda says P1, so Panda did win the race, he says. Congrats on the race win, mate. You're officially the US Grand Prix race winner, and that'd be a much needed win for you after all the difficult times you had here in Cone. Much unlucky moments, but at the same time, that'll boost your spirits.
Yeah, just adding that little bit of, I suppose, admin's input. I suppose Crc picking up a 10-second penalty for that safety car restart. That was enough to get Panda into the win. So the Alpines flying on a Monday, falling on a first to here as Pease is the first to retire. D-Mart's into the pits on lap 5, I believe it was the end of lap 5, putting on a fresh set of white compound hards. They will just about be able to stretch to the end. They will be mighty screaming towards the end of this Grand Prix, however they will still make it. George Hargreaves has managed to pull up that 1.1 second gap, is outside of the DRS detection range, and I've got to say, a driver I've been mighty impressed with this season. Another little bit of admin's input, I suppose you could call it, Jamie. We were very close to sticking this man. He was on the border between tier 1 and tier 2, and he was wanting to race tier 1 because, well, it was more for a matter of when he could race, I believe. And we stuck him in tier 1 and said we'll see how he goes with our sort of free race period to see how the grids line up, and he's absolutely smashing it in my opinion, currently in P4. Troye battling out with Chazza now. Of course Chazza picking up a penalty early doors, but he'll be looking to make the move on Troye. Smalley Ball's looking to try and do the same on rotation perhaps, but it's going to be a little bit trickier. We've all seen the DRS train and how it plays out, particularly in this tier 1, and Smalley Ball's not going to make it any easier with a little bit of wheel spin on the exit of turn number 20, but Chazza going down the inside on Troy, much similar to what we've seen Hargreaves do a couple of laps ago. Now rotation, trying to stick it around the outside, that'll become the inside for turn 2 before we get to the S section of 3, 4, 5 and 6. And rotation makes a move, following Chazza through, a brilliant move from the Swedish driver following through Chazza. Troy down from 5th to 7th. Smalley Balls now sitting at his ankles like an eager little dog, waiting to get past Troy, and you look at the way that these cars are pacing around the track, Jamie, it's only going to be a matter of time.
Yeah, it is indeed. So the two Swedish drivers go side by side. Look at that. Smalley Balls almost went to the back of Troy, and now he's opened up the door for Sieb. But Smalley Balls, with the good straight line speed he has in the Alfa Romeo, he outdragged Chazza last time. He's outdragged Sieb once again. And here he is on the back of the Alpine, who's derated. Rotation on Chazza. Smalley Balls late to the brakes. He's going to make the corner. I can see the Mercedes going out wide. You can see the Alpine out wide too. Troy not willing to give up. He gets a 3-second time penalty as well. Troy's raced around here in USA a few weeks ago, as you witnessed me get my first win in a long time. So he looks like he's struggling here tonight, unfortunately. Picked up no penalties whatsoever in the last race. Pyro, great resurgence so far in this race, but there's been a slight mistake and he's dropped down into P11 with Reservoir up into P10 as well. So Sieb has made up good ground, so has Tony, and you can see Reservoir, he picked up a 3-second time penalty on lap 3, did Tony, so Reservoir. So picking up those penalties immediately is Reservoir, using all of his golden tickets, unfortunately too many. And here's Chazza all over the back of rotation. Rotation made up some great ground as well. George Hargreaves is currently in a race of his own so far. Ever since he dispatched Troy, has pulled away since, not under threat by anybody so far, as Pyro has made a move on Reservoir. He puts himself up into turn 1, into P10, or P10 into turn 1, sorry. And there he is inside the top 10 after a dismal qualifying. I do believe he had a qualifying ban as he retired earlier on in the session. 2 other drivers did as well alongside him. German's not here tonight, and neither is ILT Leroy, as he couldn't get his power on neither his eyes either. But here we are on lap 8 out of 28 there, with Sweet Cars still in the lead of the Grand Prix, with Jewel Beam currently in P2 in at the Alpha time. You can see the amount of EOS he's saved up, and also turn off the DOS as well, as he didn't want to go for a move this early in the race, just buying his time as Chazza has overtaken rotation. He moves himself up into P5. This is great scrap going on the midfield with Sieb up the inside, and all these guys getting so close together as well. Trey from P4 to P9 looks like he's starting to lose some time on these guys on the medium compound tyres, whether the car maybe he's carrying too much downforce, who knows. And Pyro getting all slided coming out of turn 14 there. Reservoir all over the back of him, but no way to make a move. But yeah, it looks like Troy in this long-term pace, he started struggling those medium compound tyres, maybe just overheating issues, who knows. We had 3 sessions, so I'm not quite sure if the setup is suited to his style, but unfortunately on the verges of dropping out of side at the top 10. Lap 9 out of 28. Sweet Crowd continues to lead with Jewel Beam in P2. Nathan JB waiting patiently. Maybe he'll go for the early undercut, knowing that he's stuck in that DRS train in 3rd place. And we'll see when those guys decide to pit. It's going to be a medium-hard strategy. I don't think medium-softs will be the case, because I don't think the softs can make the distance, proving to some other people that softs did drop off dramatically. Interestingly, in the second lobby, a few drivers did go on the soft compound tyres, but changed their mind once we entered in this 3rd lobby, and they went on the medium compound tyres instead. So I'm not surprised not to see hard to medium. It's mediums to hards this time. Maybe they were just anticipating an early safety car and ready to change over to a brand new set early in the race, but not to be the case. No virtual, no safety car just yet, but it could change in a matter of seconds. The whole trajectory of this race could change. We'll never know. We'll find out very shortly. But however, in Tier 2, it looked like an interesting race. Looks like Ennish dropped out outside the top 10. He wasn't in the Grand Prix. I'm not quite sure what happened to him. And it turned out to be the TTL man, the Dutchman, winning the Grand Prix. Leo overtakes Reservoir. He puts himself up into P11. He's on the hard compound tyres, and his rival was on the mediums. Kenny make a comeback drive? He's currently down to P13. Was showing some decent pace. Can he show it once again? And here comes Pyro up the inside now at turn 16. That's on Troy. He cuts the corner too to overtake him. Can Troy get a decent exit at turn 16 and try and overtake him? He's triple right-handed, but I don't think he has the grip. He's been struggling all race long, unfortunately, for the Swedishman, who's down into P10. Troy's had some mighty pace ever since he's been in Cone 2 seasons ago. I don't know if he turned up last season, maybe for a race or two, but 2 seasons ago he was fighting with the likes of Shizuo Reelan, Sweet Clown, or S7R Reelan, sorry, as he's called now. And look at that, Leo's all over the back of the Swedish mud too, and he goes up the inside into turn 1. And that's Troy outside the top 10, so maybe he got more of a qualifying setup more than a race setup, and therefore it's proven to bite him back in the race, and he's down into P11 outside the top 10.
I think we'll get a good indication of Troy's real pace here now that Recify's on the rear of him. 2 cars to overtaking there, both in the hards. We're 9 laps into this Grand Prix, lap 10 of course, so it is, you know, it is going to start to swing the pendulum of pace more towards the hards. It is quite a high tyre wear track at times. For instance, during qualifying there, to do an out lap and a flying lap, you're talking 5-6% tyre wear by the time you get back into the pits after your in lap as well. So it's a little bit higher. It's not a lot higher, but it is a little bit higher than some tracks. And Recify with the assist of the DRS, of course. Troy is still going to have it from the car in front, getting the move done. Recify with a little bit more ERS does Ollie than Troy, but Troy still hanging in the back of that train. He's got a 1.9 second gap to the car further behind. I'd be surprised if we don't start to see some medium runners, not this lap, not the next lap, but the following couple of laps, start to make some moves. Definitely probably the preferred strategy for a lot of drivers here. Purely like you said, Jamie, early safety car, you can go into the hards, go to the end, or if it's a very, very right time and you're feeling a bit lucky, there's the gamble of medium, soft. Sweet Crown, the first to pull the trigger though, into the pits after 10 laps. Jamie is our, I think he was P2 at the time, going to drop right down through the pack, but fresh mediums, he's going to be very, very racy, but going to have that big pack to try and cut through here.
Yeah, so he's doing a 2-stop strategy. I haven't seen the strategy pulled off for a long time with a 2-stop. It'll be very interesting, you know, pure pace, medium, soft. Bearing in mind though, every single driver in this lobby has got a brand new set of softs due to lobby restarts, so tyre wear shouldn't be an issue. It's going to be a pure 2-stop there. What will the other try? What will Jewel Beam and Nathan try? Will they try a 1-stop or will it be a 2-stop? And Sweet Car will have a lot of pace in his hands. He's right behind this train, so how easy or how hard will it be to dispose them? Turn 12, rotations gone out wide, and that allows Smalley Balls to make his way through into P5 with the DRS enabled then. So it's just a plain mistake from rotation, misjudged his braking zone. I presume he's running no assists, and unfortunately just missed the corner completely, as he's lost the place now towards Smalley Balls. No, down the inside! He's just tagged him, and Smalley Balls has to go off the track. He gets a 3-second time penalty as well. Not his fault. Can you remove that at the end of the race, Scott?
I mean, if he's... I didn't quite catch the angle myself, I've been keeping an eye on Sweet Crown, but if he's been forced wide by a driver during an overtake or a defence, then it is definitely potential. If he is listening in, or anybody that's communicating with is listening in, submit the footage, give us the race director, and we can certainly have a look at it, Jamie. It is something we do review, but we do require a little bit of input from the drivers. Joe Breen following Sweet Crown into the pits, trying to cover off that undercut. The undercut very strong here, Jamie. This is, funny enough, Jamie, and I'm trying not to you know, commentators cuss Sweet Crown about her as we know him as, because this is the exact same strategy that I tried. I had a little bit less fortunate Grand Prix than he has had so far and ended up well down the pack, but I tried the 10-10-8 for the softs at the end, and I ended up in the wall on lap 18 trying to push so very, very hard. Joe Bream opting for the 1-stop, however. This will be an interesting battle between those two. Joe Bream with that undercut and with the harder tyre compound, he's going to fall away now for a little bit. However, Bowter going to have to make another pit stop, going to go on the softs and be very racing at the end. But is it going to make the 20 or so seconds difference? We'll wait and see on that. But definitely, Jamie, on that track extension penalty, 1 for review.
Cheers for that, Scott, mate. And we've got Seb on the back of rotation. There looks like rotation's dropped away, and Sweet Clown and Kenny have exchanged positions. Seb is in P5 ahead of rotation, and Sweet Clown is in P10 ahead of Kenny then. So that's very important for Walter to clear these cars, because he knows Dual Beam is going for that one-stop strategy. So what Sweet Clown has to do is push as hard as he can. There's no need to preserve any tyres because you go for a 2-stop. Usually the 2-stop strategy in a uninterrupted race by safety cars, you just push all the way to the end as you can. Medium, softs. Will that be the best strategy? Can he make up the deficit towards the end of the Grand Prix? Will Dual Beam have him covered? Are there going to be any safety cars? There's a lot of questions that need to be answered, and they'll be answered towards the end of the race. What's going on here? And Troye tried to pit, but Sweet Crown almost went into him too, as he was so close to overtaking him, but I didn't realise that Troye wanted to pit. As you can see, Sweet Crown has set the fastest lap of this race. So let's see what Nathan does on this strategy, whether he goes from mediums to hards, but maybe extending his medium tyres later on to go, well, maybe extending his tyres to reduce this deficit on the hard compound tyres. His Dual Beam clears Bob here as well, puts himself into P11, so Dual Beam can't afford to lose too much time against Walter, because he knows he's good for that two-stop strategy, so he needs to try and reduce that deficit towards the end as well, to not allow him to catch him towards the end. This is going to be shaping up to be a great race, because 1st, 9th and 11th are on completely different strategies here. Nathan, I'm not quite sure what strategy he's on, but we'll find out whether he's going for the hard compound tyres, but just reducing the life towards the end, maybe gambling for a safety car, who knows. He's got a lot of clear track ahead of him he can use and utilise as well to pull away, but we'll see. Will Sweet Crown get stuck in this DRS train? There's his Red Bull teammate just ahead of him. Oh, Topa's retired, and that's a safety car, and that will benefit Nathan JB. This is a dream come true for Nathan JB. Like I said, a safety car could pay in his favours, but we'll see now what he chooses to do.
It'll be an interesting call. Obviously, Bowter could also pit and Dual Beam, and they would stay round about 8th and 11th in the train. They could stay out and go likely to be 2 and 3. I'd imagine they'll be close enough to make up them points, but that is very, very big thing for Nathan JB here. I was just about to comment, I wonder if he was waiting for the safety car, or were we going to see a bold call to go for the medium hards here from Nathan, but questions will never be answered. Top there retiring on the exit of turn 11. That it is, to be fair, a very tricky traction zone. You're trying to get that throttle down as quickly as you can, because that sets up your run down one of the longest straights on the calendar, definitely the longest straight on this circuit. Nathan, Dual Beam in, does not enter the pits. He does jump Nathan stays into the pits, sorry, for hards, as does Hargreaves. Chassa, smaller balls in for mediums, Seep and rotation hards, but crucially, Sweet Crown now in P9, Jamie, onto a fresh set of hards.
I'm going to go to the toilet while you take them away, but I'm going to say,
I'm
going to say as well, Sweet Crown was so lucky to overtake his teammate, because the safety car just came out when he overtook his teammate too, so that's good timing there, not to be double stacked and lose more time. Bear in mind though, Leo only joined one place behind him, so actually it didn't cost him too much.
No, it doesn't seem to have cost him anything. Leo has managed to retain that position behind his teammate, and now in the fresh mediums, Wouter has got pace. We all know that Wouter, Sweet Crown, has got very, very good pace. However, with a tyre advantage, definitely one to keep an eye on. Pyro and Smalley Balls, however. Smalley Balls does have that penalty. I don't know if Jamie has it displayed for you lovely folks on the screen, but all of your penalties are 3 seconds. P4 Chassa, P5 Smalley Balls, P12, 13 and 14 respectively, Bumpy, Resify and Troy, all on 3 seconds of penalties. So they have to pull that gap back out. And of course, we can't forget the outlier of Bosch Evans, currently not in the car, controlled by the AI, and well and truly a lap down. And that is unfortunate for Resify, Troy and D-Mods. They are going to be stuck behind the AI Haas in the train as things stand. But Dual Beam leading the pack on 2 lap older hards. There's not going to be a lot of wear in those tyres through those 2 laps. However, every little matters around a track like this. Grip is paramount, not just through the corners, but on some very, very tricky and powerful traction zones. One of them we're going through right here, through turn number 16. We're just going to pick a number out of a hat. This is 17 and 18. It was 16, folks. There you go. We got it bang on. So every car on fresh tyres, bar our leader at this stage. Lap 14 of 28 going to be served under safety car, as is lap 15. We'll get back to racing on lap 16. The Williams of Nathan JB playing the trickster role there, trying to debate a few cars into the pits. Dual Beam and Nathan, both drivers that have been on the podium this far this season. Hargreaves looking it to be the 8th podium sitter of the season so far. Not all of them being on track, of course. There's been a few penalties from the Stewarding team mixed in at the mix throughout the season. However, Hargreaves the best of the rest at the moment, and maybe, just maybe, going to launch a challenge on these front two. Jamie, we're on one full lap served under safety car. Safety car should be in this lap, my friend, and all of them on fresh tyres, bar dual beam.
Yeah, dual beam on 2-lap on the hard compound tyres. Well, that bited back towards the end. Nathan on the freshest hards, Smalley balls on the mediums, so even from hards to mediums. So actually, safety car really helped him as well, taking off those hard compound tyres. Not lose any time, and putting the mediums, and we'll see his pace. His pace has been quite mighty as well, has Smalley balls. Won the Mexican Grand Prix, now he's up into P5. We'll see what he could do, but he has got a 3-second type penalty. Same with Chaz. Chaz's pace has been quite monumental here too in USA. Has been struggling in the last few races as well, alongside Kenny. What about Kenny too down in P11? Don't know if he's sustained any damage during his contact with P's, but he's currently in P11 on the hard compound tyres. Could he make his way back through the field? We'll see, but this is going to be an interesting phase now for this race. Not an ideal strategy for Sweetcon. Had to pit again, didn't really use those mediums to his advantage, but we'll see if he can carve his way through the field and try and fight amongst the top three. George Hargreaves could be aiming for his first podium of the season. He's got a lot of work to do as well, because he struggled to get inside that top 3 DRS train, and we know that Walter's got some monumental pace, but can George Hargreaves try and stick in the DRS train of the top 2? Dual beams on 2-lap older tyres, that does make a bit of a difference as well, so it might hurt him towards the end of the Grand Prix, but you never know if more safety cars could come out. And Posh Evans down in P16, not quite sure. Yeah, he is a lap car, unfortunately. He's stuck there in the midfield. He did leave early on in the session too. His teammates down in P15, and unfortunately Posh Evans can't unlap himself, so he actually do need a feature. Wee Rabby says, what have I missed? Been good so far. I don't know what time you joined Wee Rabby, but Taupe caused the safety car, so that meant Sweetcon had to pit again after making a pit stop a few laps ago. And Dual Beam stayed out there as he pitted a lap ago, but didn't pit again to go on the mediums. He didn't want to lose track position he already had or gained. But the safety car is in at the end of this lap. They all go racing once again, and Smalley Balls touches the back of Chazza as well, and luckily not in a spin. I think that's the second time he's done that. Reservoir picks up a 3-second time penalty. Don't know what it is with Reservoir picking up penalties all the time. And here it is, Smalley Balls up the inside into 1, and there's a Red Bull up the inside of the Aston Martin of Pyro. They go wheel to wheel coming out of turn number 1. I think Sweetcon has the slight edge, better traction, although you would have thought Tony would have got better traction with those being compound nut tyres. And now Sweetcon is all over the back on rotation. Wee Rabby says, comms on point tonight, thanks lads. You're welcome, Wee Rabby, no problem whatsoever. King Panda says, evening lads, welcome Panda, how are you doing mate? I bet you're jubilated that you got that win. And you can see Walter made a slight mistake out of turn number 8, so he lost a little bit of time towards rotation. Might bring him back into the clutches of rotation there once again. Turn 11 pointed to prove it to be not his best place to overtake, well, not his best place to go, because could be struggling there. Spoiler balls ahead of George Hargreaves. He puts himself up into P3, but rotation twice I've seen him making a mistake into turn 11. 1 out breaking himself, and 2 just rear locking the brakes. Here comes Sweetcon up the inside. Here comes the other Red Bull up the inside of Tony. He goes up into P9 ahead of the Mercedes on rotation, and Leo goes ahead of the Aston Martin of Pyro. So both Red Bulls making moves. Leo's on the medium compound tyres, so he will be quick at the stage of the Grand Prix. We can see Kenny under pressure by Bonpierre, but Bonpierre can't get the move done. He's got a Reservoir all over the back of him, but Smalley Balls is looking racy here tonight, trying to go for his second win of the season, second consecutive win after he won in Mexico. But it'll be a difficult task now because he has that 3-second time penalty over his name. It's not easy to break away from the DRS either. Plus on the mediums, we'll have to go 11 laps extra. However, he's making a move up into turn 1. Bosch Evans has retired in the pit lane, so we won't see more of him, unfortunately. And Leo is ahead of rotation, so both Red Bulls make a move, and he puts himself up into P8 ahead of rotation.
Very racy restart, but nothing too untowards. Bosch Evans, like you say, the AI troubles creeping in and being a lap down, deciding to retire on the pits. Luckily for Reservoir Troy, managing to keep in with the train. His teammates though getting by and just outside the train, but Smalley Balls. Could this be the night this man takes a flag for the second time? He has got that 3 seconds, Jamie, but on those mediums, you've got the greatest chances early doors here. Already made the move on Nathan. It's hard to break that DRS. He's going to make it stick while he can. Yellow flags in sector 1. I think that is just Bosch Evans coming to the pits. I was panicking for a second there, thinking it was Seb who lost out to Sweet Crown, and Joe Bream loses out to Smalley Balls. Smalley Balls Smalley Balls now in the lead of this race. Had a little bit of a you moment there, mate. Just couldn't speak for the life of me. Into the lead of this race. Has now got to try and pull that gap while the medium still can. But he's got a Wouter, Nathan, Joe Bream and the rest of Co all hunting them down. Wouter up 2 positions in the second half of this lap. He's looking very, very zesty on those hard tyres. Don't discount Leo though as well. Currently only P8 as things stand, but with those medium tyres we could see him start to make some inroads and Smaller Balls. A move of attention there, Jamie. Fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far.
Almost an identical move from Sweet Crown and Leo. And what's the word I'm looking for? Is it synchronized move? There we go. Rotation's gone out wide again, so it looks like he's missing his braking points. And here comes the Aston Martin Pony. He goes up into P9 with Kenny alongside him. We go side by side now. Which one of us is going to back out? We know contact can be made. We've seen it plenty of times, but they keep it out unscathed, thankfully, those two. And rotations up into P10 still. And C picks up 83 second time difference. You can see Smalley Balls has actually dropped Jewel Bream outside the 1 second range of DRS then. So can he try and pull away, build up that 3 second deficit towards the rest of them and try and pull away? You never know if those three could pick up a penalty as well. Leo is ahead of Seb. I meant to say Tony, not Pony, so I get confused between Tony and Pyro. That's why I said Pony. Not out of taking a look at Tony or anything. It's just his name's Pyro on his PSN, and I say Tony. Here he is up the inside into turn number 12. That's Sweet Crown versus George Hargreaves, but George Hargreaves is able to hang in there. Sweet Crown has made some great moves. He made one up the inside last time on Chazza, and this time George Hargreaves is the victim. Down the inside goes his Red Bull teammate, that's Leo. George Hargreaves is actually sticking with Walter. Let's see if he can try and fight this out. In this triple right hand, they can be very careful not to make contact, and he doesn't. But that was great defending, but unfortunately he can't quite make it stick. But he knows Sweet Crown is derating because of that flashing light on the back of that Red Bull car. George Hargreaves has got a sufficient amount of ERS in his disposal, so he needs to try and use some of that to try and stick with Walter, and more importantly, stick in this DRS train to try and have opportunities later on in this race. But great driving by both Red Bulls. Leo and Sweet Clan themselves have made moves, great moves into turn 16. Leo almost doing a symmetric move like Walter to turn 16, overtaking the rivals at the same time, almost like Crc I S10 overtaken from those two. And Leo doing a great job so far. Finished P10 in Mexico, and I don't think he had a great race in Mexico because he was inside the top 5 at one stage, but unfortunately dropped out of it due to contact or the wrong strategy. But here he is in USA, doing a great job so far. And to those who don't get confused, there was 2 Leos, and one of them finished in P5. That was the V10 Leo, the Romanian driver. This one is the Italian driver who's currently in ILT, as the other Leo was in ILT, but it's moved to V10. In the background, Chazza and Steve were fighting. Looks like they've sorted themselves out now and stay where they are. Rotation versus Kenny again. Let's see what happens. Oh, you can see Rotation deep on the brakes. He's lost the place towards Kenny. And what about Bompier will take advantage now going into turn 12 or 13. They both make contact. Bompier has to go out wide, and looks like he's conceded, but George Hargreaves is fighting with the other Red Bull, and that's not the first time he's been in this position with the Red Bull. Almost deja vu for George Hargreaves there with another Red Bull, but let's see if he can try and stick with this one. Oh, a bit of contact too. Leo's in a spin, and he's spun. Oh, that's a shame there for Leo. Whose fault was that? I'm not quite sure. Should he be a bit more patient? I don't know, but unfortunately he's dropped down into last place. He was having a great drive, was the Italian driver, but now he's fallen down into P15, also known as last place.
Yeah, a little unfortunate incident there, Mike. Yeah, I won't give my viewpoint too severe here, you know, steward, admin, whatever, but George Hargreaves defending very, very much to the maximum that he could. Nothing illegal in the way that he did. I think it was maybe just a little bit of coming together. Of course, it might be one that hits the steward's office. Of course, Jamie, we'll wait and see there. But Hargreaves, nonetheless, doing a brilliant job, sticking to the back of Sweet Ground despite that little bit of battling there, and well within the DRS train. Smalley Balls, though, gapped out 1.8 at the front, and the battling in this mid-pack has been surreal. I'm a little bit surprised, it must be said, with the likes of Pyro, with the likes of Boompier, and Recify not making some more inroads up through the pack, as we see Nathan swapping places with Joe Bream thanks to that DRS, getting the move done down into turn 12. And speaking of Pyro, 3-second penalty for Pyro. It is currently in P8, one of 7 drivers currently with a penalty, all of them sitting on 3 seconds. So he'll be looking to try and take advantage of those medium tyres, just like Boompier is. He's now fighting it up with Boompier, with rotation, through that triple right-hander. Boompier on the outside, rotation on the inside. That's going to turn and flip through turn number 19, the second to last left-hander of the Grand Prix. We see Recify jump into the pits after 6 laps on the mediums. I wonder if there's damage on this Mercedes here, Jamie, because that's very, very early on the pits. I think it's going to be retirement. Down to 14 here in Kota, but any of the 14 could be taking not just points, but potentially a podium with the way this Grand Prix is shaping up. Smalley Balls leads from Nathan, Joe Bream and Sweet Crown, and this front 4 looking very, very tasty.
Sweet Crown back to where he was before the pit stops start happening. It's actually on the same strategy as well, only that Joe Bream is on 2-lap older hard compound tyres, which could pay into the hands of Sweet Crown and Nathan later on in this race. They tried different strategies, but they're back together thanks to that safety car. And Walter, what a great comeback drive through the field too, back on the hard compound tyres, and here he is right behind Joel Bream. Those 2-lap different tyres maybe feeling effect now for Joel Bream. He's under pressure from Sweet Crown, who's got DRS himself trying to defend from the Red Bull driver. Let's see if Sweet Crown takes a lunge up the inside into turn 12, which he will do. But as they go out the corner, they remain side by side, both are relentless, and I think they're both departed too, with Joel Bream defending the inside into 13. Now Wilder will try and do a switchback as we head down into turn 15. Wilder up the inside. That's about 4 times he's done that exact same move, and he's pulling off really well. One of them was a bit argy-bargy with Chaz, I admit, but still hard but fair racing. This time round he's done a great job again. He's up into P3 right behind Nathan, so I thought he missed out. I thought he got caught out by the strategy there under that safety car, but his great pace and great overtakes has put him back into P3. A massive slide by the Aston Martin of George Hargreaves, and now he's fell victim from Sieb. Sieb's up into P5. George Hargreaves is running a lonely race in P4, but here we are, the other Aston Martin, Tony, up the inside, and I think George Hargreaves might get Sieb back out of turn 1. No, Sieb has the inside line in the racing line for good measure, and also Tony's ahead of Chazza for P7. So it looks like George Hargreaves started to slip back just a bit. He was in P4 running a lonely race, but ever since that safety car brought him back together. Oh, what's happened to Steve there? Just got off the track and missed his racing line. Decides to go on the grass, you know, instead of going back on the track. Interesting, because he's mucked up his tyres now. They've got debris all over him and dirt. Now he's lost a load of positions, so he should have came back on the track. He had plenty of time to do so. Maybe just wants to take an avoidant action, not to get caught in other people's way. Probably be an unsafe rejoin to track, so he had to take to the escape road or off the gravel and into the grass, which is not an ideal because you picked up loads of dirt. Here comes Joel Bream on Sweet Crown once again, and he puts his AlphaTauri into P3. Troye, he was falling down the order quite dramatically as one of the first stint. He's up into P9 ahead of Steve, so hopefully he's found some pace in that Alpine. Both McLarens are back together. They started together in 5th and 6th, and now they're putting pressure on each other as well. Trying to score some decent points here in Mexico, USA, further up north. Mighty Atom, did you stream from your POV? Oh, they're talking to each other in the comments, not talking to us, so that's okay. I'm just trying to keep an eye out on the comment section as well as the race for you, because I know some people like to comment as well, and some streamers do not read out the comments, but I do all the time. Probably a bit too focused on that too, as Troye picks up a 3-second time penalty, so he just needs to stay focused on the track. But so far, Nathan has brought the gap down. It was 2 seconds, but I think Smalley Balls, it could be the crossover point between the hards and the mediums. Also, Nathan's pulled out a 1.7 second gap over Joel Bream, and this could be very useful indeed because he's brought the DRS towards Joel Bream and Wilder more importantly. Now he's putting pressure on Smalley Balls. This Nathan could be in a really great position, you know, to try and win this race. There's only 5 laps to go, so ever since those delays and restarts, this race has absolutely flown by. Could Nathan finally take his first win of the season after many attempts in Mexico under VSC, when I think he picked up damage, and also the Hungarian Grand Prix when he just couldn't catch Sweet Crown due to those soft compound tyres degrading after taking him a long way. France, when he spun out at turn number 2 with Sweet Crown. Here comes Sweet Crown on Joel Bream. Here comes Tony on George Hargreaves. Did you know what? Great pace from Tony so far. He's suffered a bit this season as the Argentina driver, but he's came back really strong and he's up into P5. He has got a 3-second time penalty, but bearing in mind other people have too. But yeah, like I mentioned, Nathan could be in a great position to win this race after his 5th attempt in this season.
Yeah, Nathan getting a little bit of the early season of or the mid-season, sorry, I should say, of CRL history. Remember, it was a meme for many seasons, Jamie, and also some of our long-running members and fans in the comments below. Nathan constantly on the cusp of getting a win, but could never quite compromise it. I've got to see he's got to be our contender for the most improved this season. Himself and a number of drivers, of course, they have stuck the line assist back on just to help with those braking zones, and oh boy, has it made a difference in his pace. He's so much more consistent, he's so much more rapid with littler practice, and you can see this exactly now. Sweet Crown though, starting to close that gap, 3/10 over the last lap or so. So Nathan really maybe needs to put that buffer of smaller balls in between just to hold them up a little bit, because Nathan, within 6/10, within 5/10, is going to get that dirty air. He is, of course, going to get the DRS assist, but I don't really think he needs it to outpace smaller balls at this stage. 10 laps into the mediums, they're just going to start to head towards that cliff. They're going to start to really lose their effective race pace in comparison to the hards. And you can see Nathan with a bank of ERS compared to smaller balls. Maybe he's quite happy to let Wouter, to let Joe Breen catch back up and try and race them on their own pace. Or maybe he's just thinking this in the long run, save that ERS and wait for smaller balls tyres to go off a cliff, like we very nearly seen. I don't know if you caught it, Jamie, but smaller balls getting very loose on those tyres. Pyro, though, not suffering from any of those kind of consequences, as is Troye. Those two right in the DRS train, and in fact, let's give a little shout out to Boompi. He's also in that train, effectively running all the way from the leader now down to P12, and with 5 laps to go, 4 laps to go I believe, including this one now, it really is anyone's game here. George Hargreaves still in that mix, still in that pack, and with a few cars in front and penalties could still be sniffing out a podium here if a little bit of luck and a little bit of pace can find his way. However, starting to get gapped by his teammate. He's got the 2 McLarens behind, as well as seasoned veterans of Troy and Seeb here, Jamie. This is arguably, in my opinion, shaping up for race of the season so far. So much action, so much in the mix at this late stage. Who's going to win? Who's going to get the podium? Who's going to score even points? We don't know. You better stay here. You better find out.
You need to be P13 to score a point at least, and that's where Demorts is so far. I haven't really mentioned him, unfortunately.
P12.
Oh, P12, sorry. So Demorts is just one position. But here comes Nathan on Smalley Ball, so he decides to take the lead of this race. And let's see if that'll work in his favour. He put a car between himself and Sweet Car. We all know Sweet Car is quite low on the ERS, as you can see for yourselves, 10%. So will Sweet Car just sit behind Smalley Balls, try and regenerate some of that battery, and go for it towards the end of the Grand Prix? That's what he's got to do, you know, because it will be easy overtaking Nathan, knowing he's got a full amount of battery. And here he is, P1. This is a golden opportunity for Nathan JB to finally get his first race win since Brazil, since Saudi Arabia, I think 2 seasons ago as well. We all know that was a chaotic race as well in Saudi Arabia, when CPI Troye, I think, took his last victory there, but unfortunately it was a post-race penalty and he didn't actually take the victory and he fell down the order. What about Smalley Balls? He could still interrupt and intervene Nathan's race win, because he's not willing to give up. He knows he's got a 3-second time penalty, Nathan does, but at the same time, his main target is the man in the Red Bull in P3, our championship leader by 30 points, also known as Sweet Clan, also known as the 2-time champion of CRL, the dark horse of Sweet Clan in P3, always lurking in the background. CPI Chaza picking up another 3-second time penalty. I believe that's 6 added to his tally, which it is, currently down in P7 with his teammate Kenny right behind him. Great comeback drive from Kenny too in P8. But here we go then, lap 26 out of 28. You can see Tony in the background too. He's actually dropped George Hargreaves as well. The gap is 2.2. But this is spicing up to be a great race. What will Sweet Clown do? Will he try and overtake Smalley Balls, try and clear him, and try and stay behind Nathan, regenerate that battery? We'll see. Oh, look at this then. He goes for it down on Nathan. Here comes Sweet Clown on Nathan. Did Nathan not defend at all? He looks like he just let him go. And here he is then, Smalley Balls back up into P1. Sweetcrown's in P2. Has Nathan just shot himself in the foot there? And look at Sweetcrown there. Will he try and take advantage of Smalley Balls as his tyres continuously start to fade away? Could this be the moment where Nathan lost the Grand Prix?
He could really regret the decision not to maybe burn a bit of ERS, maybe not to defend. Of course, Sweetcrown going to have track position. Nathan with a little bit of ERS advantage, but it doesn't mean a guaranteed overtake. A little update, I've had a quick look through for our three effective front runners in Sweetcrown, Nathan and Joe Bream. They're all equal. They've all had one warning effectively for track limits, so none of them at risk of getting a 3 second time penalty. It is purely all in pace, and I wonder, is any of them going to risk using that second warning just to try and gain an advantage here and an advantage there? We'll wait and see. I don't think these drivers at this level all need to do that. But this battle really going to play out over the next lap and a half here, Jamie. All four of them within about a second of each other. And it is really all about that 2, 3 and 4. A Sweetcrown looked a little bit loose there for a second, but that might have been a bit of decent disconnect on my part there. Now, the next, or the second to last big DRS run on this track, Smalley Balls getting very loose in that Alfa Romeo. Nathan is using a little bit of DRS in his tank, and now Sweetcrown is going to put Smalley Balls in between. No, he's not, because here comes Nathan all the way back from P3, moving up into P1. Makes a little bit of contact and a little bit of desync, it almost looked, with Sweetcrown 19 there. Thankfully, all cars making it through. Smalley Balls now in between Joe Bream and Nathan through this twisty technical section. That could be disaster for the relentless driver. But these front two are going to have an almighty ding-dong around the next 22 to 21 corners or so here, Jamie. And I'll let you take it away for this, because this is going to be a brilliant one.
We're heading on to lap 28. 5.5 kilometers to go. Sweetcrown, our championship leader. He's going to add another win to his tally. Is Nathan going to get his first win of the season, bring that deficit down? He's got the ERS, the same tyres on both of them, no penalties, they've dropped Smalley Balls. It's down to the top two to decide who is going to win the US Grand Prix. Nathan, great tactics by the way, putting Smalley Balls into third place, letting Sweetcrown overtake him. Maybe just letting him go. I thought Sweetcrown would use Smalley Balls as a DRS train just to keep Nathan behind, but no, it turns out he overtook him. So Nathan has got Sweetcrown exactly where he wants him. Now it's going to all happen. Oh, Chaz up into fourth place. What's happened? Oh, it's contact. Juby spawned. He's out of the Grand Prix. I don't know what's going on there. Steve's also involved. Smalley Balls, Chazza, Kenny could get a podium. Who knows? But let's have a look between the top two, shall we? We'll discuss that later. But Jorby suddenly is out of this Grand Prix. Out of turn 12. It's pivotal to get a good traction, good run out of there, because it leads on this back straight where the DRS is enabled. Here comes Nathan. He's gaining. He's overtook Sweetcrown. Now he needs to make the breaker zone stick. Oh, Sweetcrown hits the brakes there. I thought to go in the back of him. Kenny up into P4. Great comeback drive, you know. But Kenny, 3.1 behind Smalley Balls. He needs to find a bit more time in the last sector to gain a podium. Keep an eye on Sweetcrown. He's up the inside of Nathan to make contact. He shuts the door on Nathan, and that could be Sweetcrown winning the Grand Prix. I don't think Nate will be too happy that, you know, he just pushed him off the track, but we'll see. Let's see what the stewards to decide. I don't think Nathan firmly closed the door on him, but here we go then. Sweetcrown comes around the final corner. That was his last lap move. He's done that 5 times this race to win the US Grand Prix ahead of Nathan JB. Smalley Balls finishes in P4 as Kenny picks up a podium. Another podium there for Kenny. Great drive indeed from the finishman after he spun on the first few laps of this race, not by himself, after being tagged by Peas. What a race indeed. But Sweetcrown up the inside of Nathan. I don't think Nathan expected that. I don't think Nathan expected him coming, to be honest. Maybe just thought Sweetcrown just laid off, knowing that the overtake was done. But you never know with Sweetcrown. He'll go for any moment he sees, and there it is. You can't let Sweetcrown have an inch of the door open, because he'll go for it no matter what. If you let a sniff, just go for it. Well, Sweetcrown, you can't let him have that opening. And I think Nathan learned his lesson right there. He's just lost a win. Due to that, at turn 15, he'll be kicking himself in the foot, thinking, why did I defend the inside line? I don't think he expected Sweetcrown to come to the inside. I think the gap was there, probably a bit aggressive, just barged his way through. But hopefully, We'll see what happens towards the stewards. Congratulations to Kenny for picking up a podium despite making contact in the first lap. But what an incredible race that was. Rotation in P5, Bob Pierre P6 or P18, Chaz at P7, Sieb at P8, Demorts. Oh, I feel bad for him because I haven't talked about him much in the race. Finishes at P9, scores some points, but something happened on the final lap that caused the drivers to lose a lot of positions, like George Hargreaves and Tony, who were in the top 6. Leo in P12, Troy P13, Jewel Beam, who is out of the race, Rectify, Bosch Evans, Taupe, and Pease. But what a sensational race that was. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But what will happen in the stewards room? And Nathan already complaining in the chat as well. It was an optimistic move. I dare say, as drivers, we will go for that move. It's the last lap. It's all or nothing. Let the stewards decide. It could be a pen. But if I was in that position myself, if I was in Sweetcar's shoes, and you got to admit it as spectators, drivers or whatever, if you're in second place, you saw that door open, no matter how far behind you go, you just go for it. I would. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, I think Jamie. Well, if you get half a chance, you're going to absolutely send it, especially in the final lap for the win. A little bit of discourse happened between the two drivers there. I think we'll see a report into the stewards and we'll see how things go from there. A little bit of update. I managed to catch what was happening with Jewelry and Co. It seemed as if Smalley Balls on those older mediums just struggling that little bit on tyre wear. Got a little bit loose, a little bit goose through the first sector and caused a bit of a backlog through the pack. That's kind of caused just a Constantine effect. Drivers coming together, having to go offline and then trying to go side by side through corners where they really didn't want to on those stage of the tyres, and just unfortunate bits of contact resulting in Geobream, Hargreaves and Pyro losing a few positions. I believe it was Sieb or Troy, one of them two. I believe actually Troy again getting caught up in a very similar thing to Geobream, unfortunately not losing part of the suspension, however. So a little bit of chaos in the final lap, Jamie, but nonetheless a very entertaining race.
It was indeed. I thoroughly enjoyed it, mate, and it's a pleasure to commentate alongside of you. KXI Bunny is not here, unfortunately, but hopefully Bunnies will be back next week. And whoever I'm commentating with, it's always a pleasure to commentate with anybody, really, because I get along with anybody. But apparently, could be a penalty according to some, but we'll see. We'll let the controversy end in the stewards' room and decide next week. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll stick to my opinion no matter what, because if I was in Walter's shoes, I would have done the same thing, to be fair, to be honest, because it's a last chance, really. He had no EOS, there's no way he could have got him back. He saw the door open, he thought, I'll just go down the inside, as all drivers would do. I wouldn't give up that chance, and if we did make contact, I'll let the stewards decide at the end of the day, because I'm driving, I don't have time to think about what would happen. It's in the moment as well, you don't have time to think about it, you just do it, as drivers do. You don't really think, you just do, because it's all down to instincts. If my dive bomb around Hungary was the penalty, then this is for sure. Yeah, we'll see. We'll leave the stewards to decide. And thank you everybody for watching. We had quite a lot of viewers tonight as well, so I appreciate you all tuning in. And CRL34 Scott, thank you, mate, for joining me in the commentary box. I really enjoyed this race.
Absolute pleasure to step in. It's unfortunate why I had to step in, of course, DNFing for my own race, but when I saw the very man, the myth, the absolute legend, Jamie Indigo, on his own for Tier 1 comms, I couldn't say no. So thank you all. To anyone watching live, to everybody that watches back, and to all our drivers here tonight, 18, of course, on this top pinnacle grid. Tier 2, of course, concluded not too long ago. A brilliant race by all accounts. A very tight finish, Jamie. Much the same as this quota. Not disappointing, my friend. But of course, Christmas break coming up, Jamie. We don't know how the standings will set up. We'll find them out very, very soon. But I suppose we normally do a driver interview. I think, given the late ending to this Grand Prix, we're going to hit that a miss tonight because you've been at it for a very long time, my friend. But my question to you, I suppose, what's your plans for the Christmas break, mate? Are you going to take a break from the commentary, put your feet up, or are you going to be right back in the thick of the action, ready and chomping to go?
Unfortunately, working, mate. I would love to put my feet up and just chill out, but I'm working, unfortunately.
I'm doing a couple of days in between myself. I'm off till Tuesday, the 27th, so to everybody else sharing a little Christmas break, Feliz Navidad.
Merry Christmas to you all as well. Thank you for mentioning that. I forgot all about that. Merry Christmas to everybody. Have a good Christmas. Spend time with your families. Get fat as fuck. And we'll see you all in a few weeks' time at Las Vegas.